What is up, guys? This is SketchUp Kyle here. We're going to be going over a 3D kitchen project here. I have a couple designs here that was sent to me by a client. And what I'm basically going to do in this video is we're going to take these 2D plans that you see here. We'll maybe just work on one of these in the video, but I'm going to take this 2D plan here that she's got labeled for me, and I'm going to turn it into a 3D model. So we'll kind of just go over the process of how I do that, and hopefully you guys can learn some things and find some entertainment along the way. So we're going to use this one on the left here. She likes to show usually two plans when she's showing these to clients. So what I did here is I took this plan, I guess both plans, and I kind of just hollowed out the boxes here, and just now I'm going to take stuff from here and put it into here. But anyways, this is our 2D plan, kind of just a naked plan here, just the walls, the stairs, and all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do here is I like to start by just pulling up my walls, and then we're going to start to, and then from there we can put the cabinets and all that stuff in there. So what I'm going to do here is I have this group. I'm just going to copy and paste it kind of over here. I'm going to click into it, and let's start to kind of just erase anything that's not a wall. So I'm going to erase these stairs. We'll kind of erase some of the window lines, and then I will show you how to basically pull up these walls in 3D. And then from here, once we get the walls pulled up and kind of the openings, we will be able to plug in our cabinetry. So let's go ahead and get that going here. And at the moment right now, I'm going to draw this at 8-foot tall ceilings. So I used my push-pull tool, which is up here in my toolbar. I click on it, and then I can pull up my things on my walls. I'm going to type in 8 with the foot mark here, and now I can just snap everything to 8 feet. I'm just going to go through and click on all my wall faces here. And yeah, it's pretty simple to pull things up into 3D, especially when you have them already drawn for you. So once we get, again, the 3D walls done, now we can begin to start thinking about the cabinets and the layout and things like that. But before we get into the cabinets, now that I have, so here's my 3D walls. Now I got to put in the openings for the doors. Typically the door heights are in residential and homes, you're going to be looking at about 80 inches. So I'm just taking my pencil tool, drawing up 80 inches, and I'm going to start to just put my 80-inch lines, throughout these openings here. And then from there, we'll start to get a better view of what this room actually looks like. So let me just go ahead and do this real quick. And then, yeah, and then we're going to continue to just build one of the hardest things to do, I think, is to build an actual existing space. So once you kind of land the walls and everything, like the cabinets and the kitchen itself is actually pretty simple, but it's more so getting the existing the existing model done. That's going to be the most important. So again, I just kind of took my 80-inch line and I just kind of started to go around here. She drew casing on these doors and windows, so I'm going to kind of just pencil these guys in here. It looks like she went with 4.5-inch casing. So I'm just gonna take my pencil tool. We'll go up 4.5 inches, and we'll kind of just lock it in like that. And again, I'm using the eraser tool just to kind of chop off my extra lines that I don't need. And we'll come over here, kind of pencil away some of these guys here. And I'm not going to worry too much about this back hallway yet. We care more so about the kitchen space itself. But now we're looking pretty good here. I'm going to pencil in a couple windows. If you guys are new to SketchUp, I do have a couple tutorials and things that I'm going to be putting out to kind of show you guys some of the basics. So if you just want to, if you're new to SketchUp, you just want to kick back and just kind of watch how some things are done so you guys can learn just from simple watching. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially when I'm just learning something and just getting into something new. So again, I'm just drawing the casing on all these doors and these openings right now. And this is it's kind of just like a boring task to do as far as actually building a SketchUp model, but it's one of those things that it's a small detail, but it actually makes it look like a real kitchen, a real home. You know, getting these windows and these wall casings in there. Looks like I forgot to pull out one of the walls. And then let's go ahead and put our windows in here. And I'm going to kind of just guess at what the windows are. I'll probably come back and I'll measure those later and double check them. But I'm just going to make some 4-foot windows and just kind of poke them through here. Kind of zip through there, zip through here. Just taking off some of the extra lines that I do not need. And again, that window casing was about 4.5 inches. So I'm going to use the offset tool and just kind of pull it out to the 4.5. And voila, we have our window casing in there. I'll just push through the window and get rid of that there, so we can have actually have an opening there. Cool. And now we've done the majority of the heavy lifting now. So this we'll kind of clean up some of those lines later, but this is its own group, and it's just it's the walls. So I'm going to take the walls and just kind of land them on top of my model. And then from here, this is where it gets kind of fun, because now you kind of have this 3D room, and then over here we can start to take some of the notes and things that she's got going on here. So it looks like she wrote in a bigger window here, so I'll double check that sizes. She went with a drywall opening here, so that's what you see how there's no casing on this door, so that's a drywall opening. Now let's go ahead and just start one cabinet at a time. I'm going to take this looks like the sink wall here. I'm basically just going to take my rectangle tool. I'm going to make a rectangle across this whole area, and then I'm kind of just going to trace what she did here with the rectangles, and then we'll go from here. So I kind of traced it, and now I'm just going to pull up my cabinets to about 3 feet tall. That's the standard height for kitchen cabinets. If you hit the K button on your keyboard, that will toggle it so that it's kind of see-through, and then I can kind of begin to read what she's got going on in here. So I mean, this is my cabinet box for the base cabinet, so I just made that a group, and I'm going to click back into it. I'm going to draw in the countertop thickness, which is about 1.25 inches. I'm just going to kind of wrap that around. We'll start to erase some of the lines here that we got going on top here. You don't want to see those. And then she didn't make a note on if this is like a double sink or a farm sink or something, so I'm just going to draw I'm just going to sketch in a quick little sink here. I just did a offset of 2 inches. This is roughly a 30-inch sink. I'm going to go back about 18 inches on that one, so there's room for our faucet. And there we go. I just kind of drew in a 2D shape of the sink. I'm going to use my push-pull tool. We'll click on the sink hole, pull it down to that cabinet line. And then from here, what I like to do is I'm going to draw this as a stainless steel sink. I'm going to use my offset tool. I'm just going to tap in like 1/4 inch. And then from here, I'm going to go down again about another 6 inches, and that's my sink. I'm going to use the paint bucket tool. I don't know if that's going to pop up on the visual here, but I'm just taking my paint bucket tool. I'm just going to pop in some stainless texture to kind of show you guys that begins to look a little bit more realistic. So we'll put that in there, and then I'm going to finish drawing the sink right away. And SketchUp's got a lot of nice items in their warehouse where I could go and pull a sink from their warehouse if I wanted to, but after doing this for so long, I mean, I've been doing SketchUp for almost 10, 11 years now, and professionally in the remodeling world, I've been doing it since about 2014. So I have a lot of quick ways to kind of draw sinks and things like that I like to do. And the other thing too is it doesn't bog down the model. Like when you bring in stuff from the SketchUp warehouse, sometimes it makes it a little bit clunky and slower. So I'm just gonna draw this quick little sink that we got here. I'm gonna switch to our circle tool. We'll put a little drain in there, and boom, we got our sink done. It's just a standard stainless double sink. And again, so now we have these kind of 3 cabinets here. It looks like she wrote drawer with trash. So I guess my next move is I'm going to draw the toe kick, which is usually about 4 inches off the ground. So I just went 4 inches. I'm going to kind of swing that all the way across the cabinet. And from there, I can actually push. Usually a toe kick's about 2-3 inches inward on the cabinet. So now that we have that actually begins to look like a cabinet. And I'm going to draw these cabinets. I'm not really caring too much about the accuracy of the cabinet. I'm going to make it look real. But she called for a drawer with a trash here. So I'm going to come down 6 inches for the top drawer. There's going to be a false drawer here above the sink. And if you toggle that there, she wants 2 doors below the sink. And then that's going to be your trash pullout. And then over here, she calls for a dishwasher. So I got to come 2 feet over this way, draw 2 feet down. And we're actually going to insert a dishwasher that I have saved in one of my folders here. But that's the opening for the dishwasher here. And then she does call for a bank of 4 drawers here. You can see how it says 4 drawers. So what we'll do is I'm just going to make these 4 equal drawers. I'll find the midpoint. of each square here or rectangle, and boom. So these are all kind of flat slabs. What I like to do to my cabinets is I'm going to use the offset tool. I'm just going to click inside this rectangle and I can go inside or outside. Obviously, I want to go inside for a cabinet. And then I'm just going to type in 2¼ inches, so 2.25. And now that I have that dynamic input in there, I'm just going to be able to click into these and get these guys manually put in as well. So we'll go ahead and put those on all of the drawers. I usually don't put them on the upper drawers, but that's basically that is the kitchen cabinet run. And then from here, let's see. I'm just gonna make some rectangular knobs, just some kind of 2D knobs. I usually draw them about 4 inches by by half an inch thick. So I just draw my rectangle on there, and I'm just gonna kind of locate these guys where the the drawer handles would go. This one I'm just gonna flip sideways using the rotate tool. We'll move that up to there. And then again, this was a drawer above the trash. And then over here, I'm just gonna copy and paste all my drawer handles in here. Cool. Okay, and then I mean that's pretty much the cabinet run there. I'm gonna put in. I don't know if you can see my materials. I'm gonna go put a countertop texture on top of this. Google. You can easily Google a bunch of these guys. SketchUp does have a handful of them in there, but I've learned that the best ones often are ones you find from your own on the internet. So I'm just gonna put in a nice Carrara marble here on top, and you can see that texture looks pretty nice on the white cabinets. That's kind of what a lot of people are doing right now with their kitchens. So I'll go ahead and just kind of paint this in there with the paint bucket tool, and boom, we have ourselves a sink base here. So while I'm still into this this group here, I'm going to go to my file button. I do have a folder full of um, items that I like to import into my model. So I'm going to import a let's import a dishwasher. Let me find it real quick. So here comes my dishwasher. I have it sized and ready to go. I just need to rotate it and flip it kind of in there. So I'll flip that with the rotate tool. I'm going to grab the top left corner edge and we'll just kind of set that in there. And boom, now you have a dishwasher in place. All good to go. I'm going to resize it real quick. It looks like it's overlapping a little bit. So I just use the scale tool. I'm going to hit my K button to see the X-ray. And then I'm just going to lock it on that line there. Make sure it touches the ground. So we have the dishwasher fitted in there now. Beginning to look more and more real as we go by. Let's hit the import tool and put a faucet in there. I have a kitchen faucet that I kind of just use as a standard. And that's the nice part about creating a library. And I might even make a separate video about that because it's not always fun to have to go to Google or go to the SketchUp warehouse and have to download new items every time here. So I do like to kind of have my own library. Just make a folder either on your desktop or somewhere else where you can put it. And then I'm just gonna paint these cabinet handles just to kind of like a stainless or a darker gray color. So boom, we have our first sink base here. And now that I have this good to go, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this corner here and let's go put that in the model and see how that's looking. I'm just gonna hit my K button and locate that in the corner. And there we go. We have it against the wall, ready to go. And then there's going to be some upper cabinets here. It looks like I'm probably just going to copy, or I'm going to draw my rectangles over what she's got here. So 1 door, 2 doors, 24 inches off counter, 2 doors. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these back up to my 8-foot line. And one way that I like to do this is I know my cabinets are 36 inches off the ground. So I'm just going to push these guys back up. Let me know if that confuses you guys. It's kind of hard to see what I got going on here, but now I have, whoa, that did not work. Here, let me just make this a group. Let me show this a better way. Let's bring these cabinets over to here. So I just have them sitting on top of the kitchen countertop. I'm going to go back into my group. I'll just extrude these down to the ceiling height. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and get these guys 18 inches off of the countertop. So I'm going to use my X tool. I'm going to use my push pull and I'm just going to click here and I'm going to pull that 18 inches off. We'll go ahead and pull this one 18 inches off as well. Where is the one's not seeming to work? Let me see what's going on here. Ah, okay. I just need to finish this rectangle here, and then we can do it. Um, so 18 inches off the countertop is usually what your upper cabinets are at, and then she did call for this middle one above the sink to be 24 inches. So I'm just gonna unhide everything that I hid to show you guys what that's looking like. I like to draw about a 3-inch space for crown molding at the top where the cabinets meet the wall. So I'm just gonna draw a 3-inch space kind of all around the cabinets there. Let's erase some of these lines that we don't need. And then I'm just gonna double check what she wrote. 2 doors, 1 door. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and just kind of use the middle tool, the midpoint tool, and get those upper cabinets in there. And then again, I'm gonna inset my doors about 2¼ inches, and now I can just kind of click through and do all that and get these things looking like real doors. And then what I'm gonna do, let's go ahead and copy. I'm just gonna copy these door handles, flip them kind of in here. And if you guys do have, like, if you're watching this video and you have questions, please leave a comment if I'm just kind of doing something vaguely or not really explaining it very well, or if you'd like to see something a little bit more specific or more explanation on something, please let me know. Again, I know I'm kind of doing this very fast, but that's our sink wall. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click into the walls. I'm going to pencil in with the pencil tool. I'm going to pencil in where my tiled backsplash is going to go. So I'm just going to kind of draw through the back side of the cabinets here, and basically I want to make this. So now that I can click this wall, and then I can click here, and only this part of the wall is now going to get the tile that I put in there. So I'm just going to put a placeholder in there for now. Let me just kind of flip a tile that I have in my library there. So there we go. Now we have a nice subway tile backsplash, nice countertops. We'll worry about the overhangs later on that, but that's beginning to look really nice there. So cool. We got a good part of the kitchen done. Let's move on to this. Looks like the chimney hood with the range wall here. Again, the process for me is I'm going to kind of just trace what she drew here. So I'm going to use my rectangle tool. Looks like this is a drawer cabinet with a 36-inch range, and then we have another drawer cabinet. So I'm just going to make my boxes. We're going to bring these up to 36 inches of height. And then again, from here, the next thing I do is I draw my countertop, and usually a countertop is roughly 1.25 inches thickness. And again, I'm just going to hit that K button and kind of lock that in there. So we have 1.25 inches kind of going around the entire cabinet, and that's where our again, we can go back to our paint bucket. I'm going to click on, actually, here's a tool. I'm just going to go zoom in here, hit my command button, click on that, and then I can just simply paint the same countertop texture that we have in here. So we're moving and grooving. And again, I know the SketchUp warehouse has a lot of cabinets that you can just kind of import, but I've always learned to just be able to draw my own. I work with cabinet makers, and I've learned a pretty efficient way to draw these things to look real without having to spend too much time. So then again, I put my 4-inch toe kick in there at the bottom. I'm just going to push those in 2 inches. And then she called for drawers here. So I'm going to come down about 6 inches for this top drawer. The top drawer is always a little bit smaller than the other drawers. And then I'm just going to find the midpoint here, and we'll have 2 bigger drawers on the bottom. And then from here, we will do our inset, 2¼ inches. And we'll get these drawers looking like drawers. And then again, on the top drawer, I don't usually do an inset looking panel there. I'm just going to make these guys a group. And let's go ahead and flip these guys over into the model here. And now we can start to see what our range wall is going to look like. So I do need some hardware in there. Let me go ahead and just grab, we'll grab some of these handles off there. I'm just going to copy and paste that guy. And then we'll come over here and just kind of pop it in there. And boom, we got 1, 2, 3 handles there. 1, 2, 3 handles there. Okay. And then if I go back over to here, she's calling for a chimney hood. She's got 2 doors for an upper, 2 doors microwave built in on the left of the chimney hood, and then a 1 door situation here. So I'm gonna come back over. Oh, how wide is that door? That door is about 11 and 16ths, and this guy is about 2 feet. Okay, so I'm gonna come back over here, and she's got these at 16 inches deep. So what we'll do is I'm just gonna kind of take my rectangle tool, kind of just draw these guys in. I'm gonna pull that out. Again, they were 16 inches deep, so I'm gonna type 16 on my extrude tool, and we'll make those guys there. And then I'm gonna get these things 18 inches off the countertop. So I'm just using my push-pull tool. I'm gonna go to the bottom and just lift up 18 inches on both of these uppers here. Let's go ahead and do that. And now we have the boxes for the uppers, good to go. And then before I get any farther, I'm gonna pencil in again I guess the tile backsplash that goes behind the cabinets here. I'm just gonna kind of zip that in there. And then I'm not sure how far we'll go up with the tile behind the range here, but I'm just gonna kind of go about that. Cool. And then I'm gonna take my material paint bucket tool. Just going to zoom in here. I'm going to hold my command button, or maybe it's your control button if you're on a Windows, and then we'll just pop that in there. Okay. Okay. So we know, I'm going to make these a group. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put, again, I mentioned that crown molding that goes at the top of the cabinets. I'm going to draw just 3 inches down with my pencil tool. We'll go ahead and kind of wrap this 3-inch line around the top. And then over here, she did say 2 doors. So I'm just going to make a line at the midpoint here, draw out my 2 doors. And then she called for this one's interesting. So a microwave built-in on top here. So I'm going to go over 2 feet for her microwave built-in. We'll just make that door going up. And then from here, I don't know. Let me see if I have a built-in microwave that I can import here. Otherwise, I might have to go to, nope, here we go. So I'm gonna pull in this microwave that I had in my folder, and I'm gonna just kind of pop this thing in here. Now she called for a 24-inch microwave. I think I should probably inset this. Let me just kind of get this out of the way here. So I'm gonna move this guy up, and what I'll do is we'll kind of go up from the bottom here. I'm just going to go up about 16 inches. I'm going to inset a rectangle here by basically about 3/4 of an inch. That didn't work. 0.75. And then I'm going to just push that into the wall. And I'm going to scale this microwave to fit in there. And that's what they do a lot of these times. They make these microwave shelf kind of boxes. So from here, I'm just going to hit my scale tool. I have my microwave selected. I'm going to use the middle node here, and we'll get that microwave to kind of just slip right into it, this nice little built-in area that we have created here for the microwave. So cool. And then on top of that, she did call for 2 doors. 2 doors, microwave built in. So let me go ahead and click into here, and we'll draw my 2 doors above. And then from here, we can go ahead and use our offset tool. Again, I like to use 2 1/4 for my inset doors. And these aren't inset doors. That's the panel. I should be using the correct terms. That's the panel on the door. And that just makes it look like it has some depth to it. So I'm gonna go back into. Let me go grab some cabinet handles from this one over here. I'm just gonna click into that, copy and paste that handle. We'll zoom out and I'll click back in, and boom, just putting in some cabinet handles here. And boom, there we go. So our upper cabinets are all taken care of. Next, I'm going to import she called for a 36-inch range here. I'm going to pop in one that I have in my folder. I'm basically just going to grab that back node and put it in the corner here. And boom, we have our 36-inch range. And then she called for a chimney hood. That's going to be a stainless metal hood here. And I like to draw mine on my own. So I'm just going to make it square where I have the opening. I'm gonna pull this out. The cabinets are 16 inches deep. I'm gonna make my range hood about 20 inches deep. So I'll come out another 4 inches or so. I'm gonna pull this down. Typically, that's about a 6 to 7 inch. Let me go backwards. We'll pull that down. And then there's the kind of the base of the chimney hood. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'll go here. I'm gonna come out, I'll come out a foot, and then we'll go just 6 inches this way, 6 inches that way. And then let me show you what we will be doing. So I'm gonna pull this rectangle up, and there are some hoods that look just like this. Here, let me go ahead and make that a group. Let me grab my my stainless material here that we used earlier for the sink. I could leave the hood just like this, but the chimney hood is has a slight angle to it. So I'm just going to draw these lines right there. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to select that line, and that line. And then from here, I'm going to hit the move tool, and I'm just going to move these guys up. I'll call it maybe 6 inches. I'll type that in there so they lock. And that is your chimney hood. I'll even come on down here to the bottom. I'll draw like an 1.5 inch off or inset angle, and we'll just kind of push that up a little bit. So boom, that is our range wall. Starting to look pretty cool. We have that wall completed, and we have the sink wall over there. So that is probably halfway through this kitchen remodel so far. We'll worry about overhangs on the countertop and some details like the crown molding and things like that later. Let's go ahead and let's look at that fridge wall that she's got over here. It looks like she's got a tall pantry, a fridge with drawers and 2 upper doors here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my rectangle tool out again. I'm just going to kind of trace over what she drew. And then from here, I'm going to pull all these up. So 8 feet for that, 8 feet for the fridge. What I'll do here is we'll go 3 feet on that because that's the drawer base that she kind of called out for. And then I know that we have an upper cabinet here. She's got that at about 13 inches deep. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw 13 inches of depth on the face here. We'll pull this guy up, and let's just kind of crop out that. So I'm going to go 18 inches up from the countertop. Use my push-pull tool. And that's the quickest way to kind of get that 3D geometry figured out. So cool. So this is going to be our fridge wall now. It looks like she gave me a 31.5 inch gap for this fridge. So a 36-inch fridge, that's a typical size. I'm just going to go 1.5 inches in. Typical fridge height, usually around 6 feet. And then she did leave me 1.5 inches for a panel here on the end of the fridge. And I guess the next move that I'm going to do, let's go ahead and get that crown molding in there, that 3 inches at the top. And we'll kind of just wrap this around. And it's starting to look more and more like a fridge cabinet now. I'm going to push the fridge hole in because that's where we're going to insert one of our models. And from here, let me just throw doors above the fridge. I'm going to zip a line over for the pantry. So there's an upper door. We'll get our 4-inch kind of toe kick there. We'll do that over here on this base cabinet as well. So you got your 4-inch toe kick. Again, our countertop thickness is about 1.25 inches, just 1.25 there. We got that drawn in. I'm going to use my material that I used for the countertop earlier. Just kind of paint that in there. And then again, she called for, I believe she just called for a drawer base. Yeah, she just called for a drawer base here. So my drawer, my top drawer will be 6 inches tall. And then I'm going to use the midpoint, and we'll just make those bottom drawers equal. I'm going to use the offset tool. Again, the door frame of my doors and my drawers, I use 2.25 inches. And boom, that's really all she wrote on this one. This one looks pretty good. Let me split the doors above here and continue with that offset 2.25 on the door frames. I did have to get, this is the handle. I just pulled that from my copy and paste tools. I'm putting in the door handles here. We'll get some here. Get some here. And then before I get farther, I will say, typically when you get a really tall door like this, they're gonna split it and they're gonna put this little panel in the middle of it because it will just add some structural integrity to the door here. So I'm just kind of offsetting, and I'm gonna continue that 2.25 look there. So that's typically how they will make a taller door like that. So it does have a little bit of stability in it, and it doesn't like bow or have a curve to it there. I'm gonna go ahead and put these handles at the drawers, and then we are pretty much done with the fridge wall. We're gonna pop in a fridge next. You can pick out whatever fridge you want on the SketchUp warehouse. I have a couple that basically after doing this for so long, I have some presets that I like. So I'm just gonna import my favorite fridge that works for my models the best. Let's see here. Where's my French door fridge? Thinking here. Let's go. There we go. I'm just going to rotate this in there. Use that midpoint tool, hit the K tool, and we'll lock that in. And boom, there is your fridge wall. So then from here, I have the fridge highlighted already. I'm going to hit shift and select the cabinetry. We'll take the top corner and we're just going to drag him over there. So boom, now we have our fridge wall, we have our range wall, and our sink wall. So we have the perimeter cabinets all good to go. Let me just go ahead and pop in that tile backsplash that we've been doing at the other walls. I'm just gonna use my rectangle tool. I'll have my material buttons here, and boom, good to go. Okay, so we'll circle back and do the crown molding and some of the overhang details on these guys later. She did call for some exposed brick here, which I think is a cool feature. So what I'll do here is I'm going to just click into my walls. I'm going to make a line at the bottom of that, and we'll make a line here. And because we finished a closed shape here, so I'm just going to delete that. But I'm going to go to my material selections, and I might have to look and see from her pictures which is the best brick color here. But I'm going to go ahead and just pick this one as an exposed brick. So everyone loves a little exposed brick in kind of an older home. So that looks pretty cool there. And yeah, so let's look back at her model here. She's calling for an island, and it looks like she drew me one, which I love it when she draws me stuff. It helps me out visually and just be able to see things. So from here, what I'll do is I'm going to click into her drawing. Let's go ahead and just highlight all of this. She's got a shelf on the bottom and a couple drawers above. I'm gonna just highlight all of those. I'm gonna copy and we will paste it. We're gonna paste it right here. And basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move this over to here because now I'm gonna rotate this. So I'm just gonna select this face, use the rotate tool, and then from here, let me go ahead and put that back down next to this island that she drew in there. Cool. Okay, so now I have the 2D profile of this island. Let's go ahead and just extrude this to the depth that she drew it at. And we know that this is a shelf at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and delete that square there because it's going to be open shelving. And then we'll just continue to extrude this. We have our countertop coming around there. And boom, really quickly, we were able to draw the island that she drew for us. And back to here, she's got 2 drawers and 2 drawers. So I'm just going to make a line kind of going through here. And we'll add our 2.25 inch face. A little panel on the drawers. So we got that on that side. We'll go to the other side real quick. Let me draw that line there. And we'll hit the offset tool again. And again, that's just 2.25. I like, oh, those didn't stick. 2.25. We'll leave those guys drawn at. And let's go ahead and paint. I'm going to use my paint bucket tool. I'm going to put the countertop, the Carrara marble that we had earlier in there. That makes that look much nicer. I think we'll leave the shelf at the bottom. We're going to leave that as wood. And then I'm assuming I'm assuming these are supposed to be legs on the island, so I'll show you what we'll do next. So the leg of this island is about 3 inches. So at the top here, I'm going to go in 3 inches on the side. We'll draw that down. Same thing here. We'll draw that down. And then from here, I'm going to go underneath into here. Again, we're going to use that 3 inch to show the legs. And then from here, all I need to do is just need to push that through, and that leg will look a lot better. Cool. Okay, what is the thickness of this shelf? She's got it drawn at about 1 inch. I'm just going to come down 1 inch from here, and we'll push in this part of the leg then. Cool. Bing. All right, so that's what I was hoping it would look like. And basically what I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to kind of copy these faces. Let's hit Control C on that. Go over to this side. Let's go ahead and just Control V that in there. And then from here, I'm just going to push these guys into the legs. So boom, we have there, that's done. That is the island. We do need to get, it looks like we need to get some handles on those drawers. So I'm just going to go back to one of the other ones that I drew. We'll copy that handle here, and let's just paste that right into our 4 drawers on this side, and then we'll do the same on the other side. I'll say this, after years and years of using SketchUp, I know what I do is probably different than what other people do, and over the time of getting to know SketchUp and doing things your way, you develop your own systems and habits of doing things. So even though I'm showing you how to do something, if you have a different way or what you think might be a better way of doing it, go ahead and do so, because that's what's nice about SketchUp. There's literally 15 different ways to do something, and probably more. So it's a pretty cool program that allows customization pretty much at every level. So now I'm going to get into that overhang that I talked about. I'm going to push, I guess I'm going to pull my overhang on my countertops about 1 inch past my cabinet faces, and this will begin to start. It's going to begin to look like a real kitchen cabinet, because now you have that kind of depth there. This might be a little bit of OCD situation, but I'm gonna go ahead and erase erase some of my messy lines here that got extruded with it. Again, if depends on, if you're new to SketchUp, I might be showing you guys some things that you don't know how to do, or maybe I went too fast and was too vague with it. So if you guys do have questions, please leave a comment in the video. I'd love to start, basically I'm going to start making more videos on this channel showing you guys how I use SketchUp and just some of the tools that I like to use, and just how to execute some complex things. So I made my island a group. I'm going to flip that into my 3D model. I'm just going to click this corner here, and we'll go and just use that as a reference. So boom, we have our kitchen with our fridge wall, our island, our sink wall, and our range wall pretty much all good to go here. It looks like we had one more thing to draw for her. She called for a tall pantry over in this corner where the stairs are. So I'll go ahead and I'm just going to make a couple rectangles here. Let me go ahead and extrude this up to 8 feet tall. That is our ceiling height. I'm going to use my select tool. Let's make this a group. And then we will just flip that right into where it belongs. And then when I'm drawing a pantry, pantries are pretty simple. We're going to start with that 3-inch crown space at the top of the drawing here. Erase some of those lines. We'll put a 4-inch toe kick at the bottom. And then basically, I'm just going to split this cabinet down the middle. Maybe we'll come down 2 feet at the top and kind of have some shorter upper doors. And then again, we're just going to put our 2 1/4 inch door face. And then if you remember how I did the fridge pantry, I put that little split in between the tall door. I'll go ahead and do that again here. So 1.25. We'll make that line here. Come down. I'm just gonna reference those lines and kind of just draw it over. And just use our erase tool. I'm gonna go grab a couple cabinet handles here. Let me just click into these guys, copy, and paste these mofos into right there and here. Okay, so that's pretty much all the cabinetry. All the cabinetry is done. At this point, let me just do something that's been bothering me here. I want to get I want to get rid of these lines on the back side of my walls here. They're just annoying. I like to have a cleaner model than that. So I'm just going to kind of swirl around the outside, and I'm just going to zip off any lines that seem unnecessary. For the model, I like to kind of have a naked exterior on my kitchen models. So cool. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do here is we're going to get into some of the smaller details. Let's go ahead and look at her notes. I believe we've accounted for all of the notes. So at this point, we'll have some fun with just adding some small details. You can see she has the stairs here. I'm not going to draw the stairs in 3D. That might be something that we do in the future. I'm just going to leave it as a kind of like a 2D plane back here. But let's go ahead and put the window in that she was talking about here. It says bigger window. I'm going to click into my walls. I'm going to go at the top of the window, and let's just go down 4 feet. We'll make a window here. I'm going to add just like a little window sill to the bottom of the window. And next we will we'll draw a window and get that looking real for you guys, so you can see what that would look like. And then we'll just draw a little small piece at the bottom of the window here. Let's zip off some lines. And then I'm going to use that push pull tool, and let's push in the square to make the opening for the window. So cool, we have an opening for a window now. I'm going to get out of this group. Let's use our rectangle tool. And again, SketchUp Warehouse has tons of things you can find on there. If you want to go find a window, go for it. I personally just like to draw my own windows. So what I did here is I just took a rectangle tool, put it on the inside edge, and just pulled it all the way. For windows, I'm just going to use the offset tool, offset an 1.5 inches. I'm just going to draw a simple double hung window. So that way I don't have to worry too much about going to the SketchUp Warehouse and finding a window that works. So I'm just drawing it so that the bottom window can be looking like it's going to lift up. So I'm going to push that in as well. Use the rectangle tool here, get that midpoint, get that midpoint with that midpoint. And then I do have a glass material. Let me just pop some glass into the window here. And boom, that's a really quick way to draw a window. I'll make that a group. And voila, now we have a window in the back hallway. I'm not quite too sure what these windows look like in the kitchen, but I'm just going to copy and paste that window over here. We'll rotate that in. I want to see, I'm going to hide my walls. I'm going to put this window on the floor first. And it looks like she had a divider there between the windows. So I'm going to use my scale tool. We'll hit the middle node, and we'll make that fill in the gap there. So cool, we got 2 windows there. Let me unhide my walls. Whoops. My mouse is being a little fuzzy. All right, we'll unhide the walls. I'm going to select both of these windows, and let's just move these guys up to the top. Oh, let me hit both windows, please. And we'll move these guys up to the top of the door frame or the window frame. And let me just infill this little gap that we see here between the windows. That's just a kind of an extra frame piece to separate the windows. So boom. All right, we got 2 nice looking windows. And what should we do next? Let's get some overhang on these kitchen cabinets. That's kind of bothering me. Again, kitchen cabinet with the countertop, you're going to have about 1 inch of an overhang on those guys. So I'll pull that just 1 inch in both directions. And we'll go ahead and do that over here on the range wall. So 1 inch. We'll pull that out. We'll pull that out 1 inch. Let me just put a line here, and we'll pull that out 1 inch as well. And then let me see here. Looks like we got one more cabinet overhang. Up next, I'm going to add some crown molding. This is probably a little bit trickier of a detail here. I'm going to start with this cabinet, and I like to draw my crown moldings. And again, I mentioned I like to draw them at 3 inches. So I'm going to just kind of pencil in a 3 inch by 3 inch square. And for this crown molding detail, you can look. You could Google some crown moldings and draw some for yourself. I'm just going to draw one that's really simple, easy to draw, and it's kind of like I believe the correct term is a cove, and it'll end up looking kind of like that. And from here, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to copy that, and I'm just going to put one. I'm going to put one here, put one here, put one here, put one here, because we'll come back to those. But now we're going to get into a little bit trickier of a tool. So there's the crown molding. I'm going to go ahead and just make that a group. I'm going to click back into it, and then I'm going to trace the outline of this cabinet where I want the crown to go. So I have this line, and this line. That's where I want this shape to wrap around the top. I'm going to go to my Tools tab at the top of my screen. I'm going to hit the Follow Me tool. I'm going to kind of hover over my crown molding. I'm going to click once. And now you can start to see that it's recognizing the line that I just drew. And I can use my mouse to kind of wrap around and kind of complete this really cool crown molding detail that just really makes the cabinets look like real cabinets. So we'll come over to these uppers over here. I'm just going to take this this crown piece. We'll start over here at this corner, and I'm going to just click on. I'm going to make lines where I want my path for the Follow Me tool to go. So again, that's Tools, Follow Me. I'm going to go ahead and click once. Oops, sometimes it likes to do that. Just don't be afraid to hit Escape. So click that once, and the red line it's following will be the crown molding. Let me go ahead and make that a group. And then same thing over here. This one I just need to rotate into position. Let's go ahead and move that over here and use my pencil tool. Whoa. And I'm just going to trace where I want the crown molding to go, and we're just going to use our Follow Me tool and just wrap that around. Again, if you guys need me to be more detailed on how this works, I can make a separate video. Just let me know in the comments if that's confusing or not. Over here, it's pretty simple because we don't need to make one that curves. So I'm just going to use the Push-Pull tool and just make that a straight one. And then again, I'll go slowly one more time with this on the last cabinet over here. So I'm going to take my crown molding that I drew. I'm going to go ahead and flip this into the right orientation. I'm going to take that top corner here, I'm going to put it right where I want it here. And then from there, I'm going to use my line tool. I'm going to draw where I want the crown to go. And I'm going to hit Tools, Follow Me. We'll click on it. Sometimes when I click it, it'll just automatically go to a line. I just hit undo on that, and then for some reason now it lets me do it. And then I'm just going to follow that that red line, and we'll make that a group. And boom, we have crown molding on all of our cabinets now. And besides the flooring texture, we'll go ahead and pick that in there in a little bit. Now, what I'd like to do is I want to land some trim molding on the floor here. And typically, if you look at any wall in your house, you're going to see a 3 or 4 inch tall piece of trim on the floor that meets, I guess, where your carpet or hardwood floor goes. It just kind of protects the wall where the wall meets the floor. So I'm going to go up about 4 inches and just kind of slowly start to draw some pencil lines going around here. And we'll pick that up over here at the cabinets again. And that's why I draw my my toe kicks at about 4 inches so they can kind of sit underneath here. So let's go ahead and just basically we're just penciling a 4 inch line all around the bottom of the walls. And again, she wrote that this is going to be a drywall opening. So I'm gonna wrap my 4-inch base molding around the corner here. And we'll even wrap that around into this little back hallway here, run that into the pantry wall. Let me pick that up over here. That's where the stairs would go down. We might even, we're kind of having fun. Let me just see how much long we've been going for about 50 minutes here. So let me know if you guys are still here in the comments. Let me know if you guys are still hanging out in this video. But we're just finishing up the details here with the final base molding. And wow, we have completed a model here that looks pretty dang cool. I'm going to go ahead and put a hardwood floor texture in here, and that will probably be one of the last things I do with this model. I do have a bunch of hardwood floor textures that I've saved from Google. I like to just find my own ones and that look pretty cool. We'll go ahead and pop these guys into here, and we'll just paint all of our floor textures. And voila, we have a 3D model of a kitchen that we drew from scratch. Looks like we got one more piece there. I'll even go let's add a wall color, and that'll really make this pop. Let me just go ahead and go to my paint bucket tool here. I'm gonna hit new texture. I have a bunch, I mean, you can literally just type in Sherwin-Williams paint colors, download those, and you'll be able to import those into your 3D model. I'm gonna use just kind of like a soft tan color, and we'll paint these guys on the walls. So boom, boom, boom. And yeah, this is starting to look like a really, really nice 3D model. So again, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you guys want me to do something more specific, I can always take suggestions to things. I know I kind of was probably pretty vague on a lot of things here. We moved pretty quickly, and I apologize if I explained something incorrectly or confusing. Again, just let me know in the comments. But that's going to do it for this video. I think the final thing I guess we'll do here is I'm just going to show you guys how I prepare this for a presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and hide everything but the model that we just finished. I'm going to go to the camera tool, hit standard views, top, and I'll hit zoom extents. And that's going to be the first view that my client sees when we open up this model to look at. I'm going to hit the scenes button. I'm going to hit plus, and I'm just going to hit create scene, and we'll call this 3D plan. Remember, we're going to do a second plan later. So I'm just going to call that 3D plan 1. Okay, and then we have these tools, section plane. I'm going to kind of zoom back here, and I'm going to click on that wall, and from there it puts in a section plane. I'll highlight that, and now we can move this plane to really get into the space. So I'll set it there. I'm going to hide the plane itself. Standard views front. We'll hit zoom extents. And there we have a really cool way of looking into the kitchen. So I'm just going to call this, I'll hit create scene. We'll call that 1. And then so that they can see the sink wall, I'm going to hide that. We'll hit another scene button, and we'll call that 2. So here at the top, I have these little buttons that toggle what I want my client to see. Let me kind of just zoom out now. I'm going to go back to tools. We'll hit section plane. I'm going to hit that wall, and we'll highlight that. And again, we'll kind of move this guy in just a little bit. Now I'm going to hit standard tools right. This is the right camera view. We'll hide that section view, and we'll get them another view looking at their kitchen right here. I'm going to hit plus on the scene tab, and we'll just kind of make that scene number 3. You probably can't see, I don't know if that's going to be showing up in the video, but I do have this tab where I can type in 1, 2, 3. Like I can type in the scenes. It's just kind of a little editor for us. We'll hide the island again and show them that wall there. And then trying to think here. I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add one more section cut on this wall. We'll highlight that, move that kind of there. We'll hit the right view, we'll hide that, and then boom, that way they can see that whole elevation there. Just going to update that scene. And then I have there are two more scenes that I'm going to set up here. Let's go ahead and cut into that wall. We'll move this guy in just a little bit. I'm trying to unhide all and get my, just trying to get my, my island back in there. I'm going to hit the back view. And now we're getting that view of the island. I'm looking towards the fridge wall. We'll hit the button again. And let's hide that. And then I'm going to hit return to my 3D plan button. I'm going to hit plus. We'll call this return to 3D plan 1. All right, so now I have all my scenes set up. This model is essentially ready to show a client. If they like the design, we will go to, actual drawings on paper. But here we go. I'm just going to kind of click into it, and it's showing. I got all these stupid section cuts in there, so I just got to hide those. I'm going to hit update on my model. But that's the first view. Second view, it removes the island. So it's kind of helpful just to see what we're working with there. Let me go to my third view. I'm going to just highlight all these section cuts, and we'll make sure that those are hidden. And we'll do it again here. And on the final scenes as well. And 5 and 6, and then return to plan. So that's it. We just completed this really easy kitchen project. We went from a 2D plan to a 3D model. I showed you guys a lot of fun tips. This was a ton of information in this video. If you guys do have separate questions, again, please let me know in the comment section. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. I look forward to making more of these and helping you guys learn SketchUp and sharing ideas and everything like that. So thank you so much for your time. We'll see you guys in a future video. Peace.